On the Mark Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Quixote and Lewis. Let's mark out.
Yes, y'all. Welcome to another episode. Welcome to episode 68 of On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. We are your boys, the three-man band, the three-man booth, the trifecta, the trios champions, Quixote, Lois, and Joel. Welcome to the show, fellas. What's going on with y'all, man? How y'all doing?
I'm doing.
You doing?
Chilling.
Lewis, you got the Yankee. I know you put us on notice last week. You said, "Listen, fellas, I will not be available, not because of any family emergency, not because of work obligations, but because the Yankees are 2 games away from entering the World Series." Lewis put us on notice, and we took that very serious. Lewis, thank you very much. Lewis is here though. We got him tonight.
Yes. And for some of you folks, if you're listening to this podcast late, like maybe later in the weekend, hopefully the Yankees will have already clinched a trip to the World Series. So, yes, we are recording tonight because the Yankees aren't playing. Instead, our little brother across town in Queens is playing. So, yes.
Joel, what's going on with you, man?
Starting off early with the hate. I see. I am hoping we do get a Subway series. I think that would be pretty lit.
That'd be dope as hell, man.
Yeah,
I may have to watch that. I always watch playoff baseball. Like I legit watch playoffs.
I'm the same way.
During the season, yeah, he ain't gonna catch me. But
too many games.
But playoffs, I'm acting like I know all the players' names. I'm like, yo, that's my man right there. Yeah, I'm acting like I know everybody. But it's exciting. So I got hope. I'm gonna say we're gonna get a Mets. We'll probably get a Mets Yankee joint.
It's a good time. Good time for New York sports, man.
It is, man. It is.
Shout out to all my folks in New York. I may live in Missouri City, Texas, but I shout out to my New York folks, man.
Yes, sir. But fellas, let's get right into it, man. We had a hell of a wrestling weekend again by AEW, and we don't come here praising AEW all the time. Listen, we get into AEW's ass sometimes, all right? So we ain't getting paid by them. We ain't on the books, none of that. But this pay-per-view should have been meh, but it was actually really good. It was really good. We had some solid matches, some continuing of some storylines, some major returns, which AEW needed some stuff to happen because, attendance is down, viewership looks bleak, but they got a mega TV deal, which is also a good thing. So it kind of almost balances it out a little bit. But let me ask y'all, all right? And we had a huge main event. I want to get that I'm going to get there. What did you guys like about this year's Wrestle Dream, which on paper looked like a C average pay-per-view, but when we watched it, it was like, okay, actually turned out a little better. What did you guys like about it? Joel, what did you like about the pay-per-view?
I actually liked a lot about it. Okay. I ended up watching it a little bit late. I didn't watch it on actual Saturday because I was on vacation, but I saw it late, and I think that kind of helped because I didn't have like the all the talk surrounding it, and I didn't have any. I just kind of went into it blind, and I think it was really solid. I like the current feuds that are building out of that show, like Switchblade and Hangman. It looks like that's going to continue after the Dynamite. And then obviously, of course, the main event and the shenanigans that happened after the main event was amazing. And then the triple threat, of course, like those 3 are literally the definition of fight forever. I want to see those guys literally go at it for like the whole pay-per-view could have just been that match and I would have been happy. 4 hours of them just wrestling. I would have been happy. But that's how I felt about it.
How about you, Lou? What you take away from this year's Wrestle Dream?
That's funny, Joel, because now that I'm thinking about it, you could have made that into a 3-way Iron Man match, right? No. Just fall after fall after fall after fall after fall.
Oh, yeah.
But I thought Wrestle Dream overall was solid. It was very effective as divisive as that ending was, as polarizing as that ending was, it was very effective in the sense that it got everybody buzzing.
Yeah.
Because I myself, my initial reaction was very 50-50. You know, I truly didn't know um how to feel about where they were gonna go with this.
Same.
After the way, it's not so much that Danielson lost, it was just the way in which he lost, and then the aftermath, and it was interesting to say the least. But I am glad that John Moxley is champ. The 3-way match was excellent. There was some good stuff. There was a lot to like. You know, not everything hit the same, but there still was a lot to like.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. There was a lot to like. A couple of stinkers, not stinkers, but a couple of the joints, like the hologram Mortis match was like, they was it hologram and Mortis? Yeah, right. Hologram and Mortis. Yeah. So there was a couple of instances where they were kind of like just waiting for each other to kind of do the spot. It was almost
Classic
very
lucha, though.
It is classic lucha, and you know what's funny? As soon as they started as soon as the crowd started noticing that, they started to chant lucha, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I guess that's the style, right? I didn't watch a lot of lucha, so I didn't get it. But to me, that kind of took me out of it a little bit. I'm like, okay, hologram's cool, and apparently Tony is into him. Tony's loving hologram. Tony's very into some hologram, but still not a terrible match, but still that would be the lower match out of the entire card, and it wasn't even that bad. That was that.
Can I'm making faces over here. Can I say something about hologram?
Oh shit! What, Lewis?
We need a like a song for like our hater segment.
Yup. Yeah, because Joel and I tend to turn heel every now and then.
Yeah, you guys. I'm
gonna go full heel, man. Hologram sucks.
Whoa.
Look, I'm not saying that he sucks like as a worker, no, but he reminds me too much of like a Sin Cara, where it's just all fancy moves, no character whatsoever, and there's no reason for me to get behind him. He almost looks like a masked version of Glacier. Do you remember Glacier from WCW? Like the presentation is cool. I cannot get into hologram.
Masked version of Glacier. That's a hell.
Whenever I see hologram, I want to change the channel or do something else. Like, it's just not doing it for me, man. I appreciate the in-ring ability, but he sucks.
Lewis, I don't
know if that makes sense. Like he's a good worker, but he sucks. You know,
Lewis, I kind of agree with you. And I'm trying to convince myself.
What the fuck is the appeal?
Yeah,
and the name is terrible. Hologram. Like what is this, man? Like what is this?
Lewis. You know what, man? Now that I think about it, you're right, and I'm trying to force myself to like him. I really was, but because he's being pushed on us so heavily. I'm like, yo, hologram is kind of trash, though. He wears this stupid mask that doesn't look like anything special. His gear sucks. He's got the body of Wheeler Yuta. Like it just doesn't. There's nothing. You're right. There's nothing appealing that stands out about hologram. Joe, are we wrong, or is Lewis cutting the heel promo too early?
I'm gonna be the hologram defender over here.
Wow! Defending hologram.
So we got a face turn here.
We got a face turn now.
I do think the name sucks. I think he is okay in the ring. I think he's not like the best luchador the way that Tony Khan sees him. I think. Yeah. But what I do think Tony Khan is thinking probably is this is a perfect gimmick for kids. He might be trying to appeal to a younger.
Interesting.
Imagine a hologram action figure. He kind of looks like Buzz Lightyear almost. You throw, maybe they get a Buzz Lightyear collab or something. I don't know, but
maybe.
I think the issue with him is the presentation almost doesn't match what he is. Because like I think of this guy when they first started announcing him hologram, I thought it was gonna be like, oh, this guy's gonna be doing like fucking 630s off the top rope and crazy moves that we never seen before, and then it kind of just is regular lucha shit that he's doing.
Yeah. Yes.
Like Commander is almost more impressive in the ring because Commander
does
rope walk and all these things we've never really seen before. So it's like when he were announcing him, I was like, oh, this guy must be like the best luchador that TK has signed. And then he shows up and it's like, he's kind of
Yeah.
And then I was hoping that Beast Mortos would get the win because I feel like Beast Mortos is way underrated and it could have been an easy win for him. And Hologram wouldn't really lose anything from that, but it is what it is. I think Tony Khan just has like a huge thing for a hologram.
He loves him some hologram, man. I don't know what.
And I agree with you. Commander's way better than hologram. Like Commander is really good.
Yeah, I second that. Commander is really good, and I probably would have given this win to Beast, but of course, hologram is Tony's boy, so we were trying to see. He's trying to see what happens. You should be pushing him hard, but you know what, Lewis? Damn, I might agree with you. Hologram sucks, man. He's whack. He's whack. He's whack.
Look at the can of worms that I just opened, man.
You got me now because I'm watching the match and I'm like, this. What? Why are we supposed to like him? I guess that was the question that was going through my head the entire time.
Yeah.
Why am I supposed to like him? And to tell you the truth, I'm going to be honest. I'm losing track of the masked luchadors in AEW. All of them look the same in terms of mask, gear. I don't know who's different. If you put up Commander next to Hologram, I probably wouldn't know which one's which. So I would be booing both of them just by default. By default, I'd be booing both.
Yo, Quixote, that's some funny shit, man. Because like, you're not entirely wrong on that. And your sentiment right now is extremely valid. Unless you are a fan and a follower of lucha libre and luchador style wrestling, it really can look very redundant. Like from master wrestler to master wrestler. Like unless it's Rey Mysterio Jr., you know what I'm saying? Like you're right. You're right.
And you know what? And exactly. If it's not Ray, I
guess Phoenix.
Phoenix. Yeah, like those are the guys you can kind of really pinpoint who's who. But I mean, this guy, I don't know, man. I'm starting to. I feel your sentiment, Lewis, when you're talking about hologram and just being plain old trash right now. Like we see him all the time. Like we see that style. There's nothing special.
Hopefully he doesn't listen to this episode.
I want him. He should listen to this. But I want him to listen to it. I want him to listen. But yeah, man. So Wrestle Dream. So aside from that match with Hologram and the Beast Mortis man, we had a pretty good opening match, which I would say more than pretty good, a very good opening match. It was Hangman and Jay White did their thing, but here's my thing to you guys: Jay White, what's going on with him? Like I feel Jay's stock has gone from like must buy to like, I'm going to stay away from that. I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's like a real slow build to the Jay White crescendo, kind of thing. Where are we going with Jay? Because he had a match tonight on AEW against Christian, and Christian beat him. So what's happening with Jay, bro? What's going on, guys? The Jay of it all.
I think with Jay White, I think it is a slow burn. I think what people were expecting when he got signed was like, oh, this is a great guy from New Japan. He's going to come in and win the world title right away. Mm-hmm. And that's not really, like, if you watch Jay White in New Japan, that wasn't really his character either. He's always been the slimy guy who kind of puts himself in the right position to get that title. He never just been like a dominant champion. So I think that's kind of what they're doing. And then he did get injured. So I think that threw some stuff out of the loop. But I think Jay White and Hangman is where we're obviously heading again.
Okay.
And I really like that match. I think their chemistry was amazing. Jay White getting that victory over Hangman was a big deal. I feel like a clean victory.
Mhm.
And then obviously Hangman took that personally since he was the one that caused him to lose to Christian Cage now. So I'm hoping after this Jay White Hangman feud, I think Jay White moves on to that world title picture.
Okay. Lewis, where we going with Jay, man? Are you going to cut a promo on Jay, or we're going to take it easy?
Nah. I like Jay White. I've never. Yeah. I mean, I've never been like a super fan of Jay White. I respect his work. I like his character overall. He's a very good talent to have.
Yeah.
I do feel like he fell off in the past year or so. So this is a good way to get him back into being taken serious as a world title contender. So I wouldn't mind that. And you need fresh faces in the picture every now and then anyhow. Mm-hmm. So if you're not going to have him outright go for the world title against Jon Moxley, then you can put him in a program with Okada for the Continental title. And Okada and Jay White, hello, main event, Madison Square Garden, 2019. Oh I was God. There. They've got history there.
Is that the match I missed? That was the main event? Damn, Lou.
And that was a very good main event at that, too.
Oh, man, I missed.
So that's what I'm saying. You can capitalize on that history. There's rich history all around the world with that.
I remember that day like it was yesterday. I was the only douchebag that left that event early. Everyone went to see New Japan and this whole special event they had at the Garden. ROH, man.
It was ROH, New Japan, G1 Supercard.
I didn't buy the ticket because I was like, yo, I don't know none of these people. I'm like, I'm not even in tune. Lou was like, yo, man, just come to the show, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna be crazy. I'm like, Lou, nah, man, I can't, nah. And the show was crazy. That is the one event I regret not going to. It was terrible.
It was quite good, and just a real quick note. You missed an instant classic between Kota Ibushi and Tetsuya Naito.
Oh,
just saying,
man. Yeah. You listen. You said it. I dropped the ball on that. I dropped the ball. But here's where I want to get to, fellas. We had some interesting stuff happen in the middle of the show. We had Adam Cole come back, which was very unexpected. I thought,
yes.
I thought Homeboy's ankle just disintegrated into dust at some point. I didn't know he was coming back. I had no idea he was coming back. He's dealing with his girl just not wanting to be with. He's dealing with a lot. Adam's not a good man. He's not in his right mind right now. So I was expecting him. Then we had MJF come out, which again wasn't expecting. Then we got the whole Swerve interaction with Shelton and MVP, which I loved, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was good. Adam Cole comes out. His focus tonight on AEW, his focus is to get back at MJF. That is his goal, to get back at MJF. Do you think we get this at Full Gear? Do you think this is even pay-per-view worthy? Do we care? Is Cole being back something that AEW needs? Joel, where do we go from here with Cole, man?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think we get it at Full Gear. I think MJF is at the point now where he's not going to be wrestling as much on TV.
That's what I think.
He's filming movies and all this stuff. He's getting Hollywood. So I don't think we'll see him on TV as much. Even today, it was like a pre-tape promo. He wasn't even there for the show. So I think we'll get this at Full Gear. I don't know I'm not really excited for it, to be honest, because I feel like they kind of dropped the ball. Well, obviously, Adam Cole got injured, so that happened. But that whole Devil storyline kind of, didn't really work. And now they're kind of trying to just like work around it with like Adam Cole being the face for some reason now, even though he's the one that screwed MJF over. And then he's saying like, I had to be evil because he's evil. It was very like convoluted way of getting. Yeah. But people love cheering Adam Cole, so it makes sense to make him the face. I think it'll be a fun match. They had great matches before, the All In main event.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
First All In, and then also the time limit draw they had. They've had great matches. I think it's going to be a great match, but I'm not excited for it. There's no juice there right now. They need to heat it up for sure.
They got to heat that up, and I think the only way to heat that up is if MJF is in person, man. Those pre-taped, they just don't hit the same if he's not in the arena. How about you, Lewis? Like, do we care? Like, are you happy to see Cole back? I'm happy to see Cole back. The crowd is still doing the baby. They're still doing that. They're still, they're still with it. But like Joel said, there's no juice behind this. How do we heat this up, man? Can we heat this up?
I don't know how to heat it up, but I will say that I marked out when I heard Adam Cole's music because it was totally unexpected. I've always liked Adam Cole a lot, like a whole lot. Yes. I think he has the total package minus the physique, but he's got everything else. They're trying to redeem themselves for really dropping the ball and dropping viewership from that devil storyline. Yeah. Dude. So I understand because they left it hanging and they want to just close that storyline. So I understand. And they had to switch roles, right? Because now Adam Cole's the babyface and JF's the heel. We'll get a great match. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with Cole after this feud to MJF, because Cole needs to now be taken seriously again and be presented like a top star, because all the comedic shit that he was doing with MJF and company and the Kingdom. Now, don't get me wrong, like the stuff that he was doing with MJF was entertaining, we need to get back to like ROH NXT Undisputed Era type Adam Cole, 100%. Where he came across like a badass.
Yeah, I agree with you. Some of it was entertaining, but they need to go back heavy on that NXT black and gold Adam Cole. Also, I think you need to get him to the heavyweight title picture quick, because to me, Cole's a little fragile, right? And one of the reasons why I think Homeboy is fragile is because he has the physique of a 12-year-old preteen wrestler, like the little kid that's outside wrestling in the backyard. He don't look stable on his feet. He just don't, man. Like at any moment, it looks like he could do that Panama Sunrise or whatever, and his whole body just breaks down like a Mr. Potato Head. Just everything just falls apart. You know what I'm saying? So I think I going on your part, Lou, going on what you said, Lou. I think you after this, I think Homeboy needs to go straight to the top. Like he needs to skip levels,
or at the very least the TNT title, at the very least, and then have a nice little run with that championship belt, and then who knows, that can lead to a match with the other Adam who's injured.
I forgot about him.
You know what I'm saying?
Damn,
like that.
Adam Copeland, baby, versus Adam Cole, baby,
and he's due back at some point. Yeah. And rumors are, within the next 2 or 3 months, Omega back, but probably not in a full-time status. But at least you can use him in some capacity. And then you got maybe a little while down the line, you got Kingston coming back at some point. So that will kind of round out the injury list here, which is
said Kingston out. I was like, who?
Oh,
like Kofi. Like Eddie Kingston had been going so long, I forgot about
you. Exactly.
Low Kofi in AEW though was slap.
Hey, AEW. That doesn't sound all that bad.
Kofi in AEW?
Yeah,
that doesn't sound too bad. But it just depends on how you book them and how you present them.
I'm not gonna lie, that sounds terrible.
Kyoto's not on board.
I am not on board. I'm going to tell you right now. I think after this last contract year of Kofi Kingston's, he needs to go away from wrestling for a long time.
Damn, son. Yeah, so you went heel now.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I just turned.
There you go.
I just turned.
There you go. We all turned tonight.
Kofi does nothing for me. Kofi is
Damn.
a product of Vince McMahon's WWE and has stayed there. There's nothing exciting or intriguing about him. He's just corny.
Yikes.
Like I need this. They need to change that whole New Day shit. Like they need to just make it. I need to see a dark heel, violent New Day, like a Nation of Domination type of thing. I need to see that.
Yeah.
Until then, I don't want to see Kofi, nor I want to see Woods. I don't care about none.
Listen. I'm gonna give a really big shout out in real time, live, to our friend Gio, my man Gio, because he's watching the live stream and he messages me with like laughing emojis, and he goes Jamaican Kofi.
Yo, again, yeah.
That's the only way we feel take him in AEW. If he comes back with the Jamaican accent,
he needs to come back Jamaican with the fucking brown stew chicken. with
the brown stew chicken.
And I'm saying that because I love brown stew chicken. I'm just saying.
You put the brown stew chicken over.
Man.
You put the chicken over, man. You put it over.
Listen. I love me some Jamaican food.
Joe, I agree with you. I need to see Kofi do the boom. You remember that? I need to see Kofi. Yeah, I need to see Kofi do that. I need the Jamaican Kofi. That's what.
Yeah. You're about to make me fall out my chair.
Jamaican Kofi, 1,000%, 1,000%. But fellas, I want to get to the meat and potatoes of Wrestle Dream. We had a major
not the brown stew chicken.
Not the brown no, the rice and peas. The rice and peas.
The rice and peas.
We need to get to Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
Losing to who I think is a very strong choice to be champion in Moxley. Yeah. Homeboy's on a whole nother level. His body looks great. He's on mentally. He's I think Moxley is AEW, and we need to talk about this ending. A lot of people were like, "Yo, what they did my boy Danielson wrong," and then others were like, "Yo, it was pure genius how they handled it." So let's get into that. So Bryan Danielson loses the AEW World Heavyweight Championship at Wrestle Dream to Jon Moxley in a choke out. Done, and his career is officially over because I think your boy is really hurt. I think he was wrestling with a lot of ailments, people telling him not to do it, and of course he's like, "Nah, I gotta do it." He's rushing in dream matches, which he probably shouldn't have rushed in.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the ending of Wrestle Dream? Joe, I'm going to start with you. What did you think, man?
Honestly, I thought it was perfect. I think it was played perfectly. I think the shock was amazing. Like I said, I watched it late and I wasn't watching wrestling for like the whole week beforehand. So I didn't hear any of the conversation of like people thinking that Mox was going to win. So I went into it being like, Danielson's going to win this. It's his hometown. You know, it's too early for him to lose the title, you know. So I'm like, okay, maybe Mox will beat him down the road, but not here. That's what I thought. So then when that choke happened, when he put that choke on, I was like, is this it? Like, is this how they're going to do it? And then they fucking did it. And then it was such a perfect choke out because Bryce Rensburg, the referee, his reaction after he called it, realizing what he just did, that was amazing. I was like, yo, everybody in the ring right now is doing their job perfectly. Nigel on commentary literally says, I guess I've always pictured this day and it happening now. I don't like. He was like, "This is not how I wanted it to happen." And this is his worst.
And that's his worst enemy.
Career long. And even he was like, "Nah, this is too much. It went too far." And then everything that happened aftermath with Wheeler Yuta basically being told like, "Prove your loyalty, choke out your hero." Man. And he does it. He actually does it. He chokes him out with the bag. You got Darby tied up, fighting, trying to save him. It was just like this you know how the kids like to call the bloodline stuff cinema out there.
Oh yeah.
This was cinema to me. Like this was a mob movie. This is
Oh,
literally
man.
the young rookie guy right here in a mafia taking out the big boss, basically. And because Moxley's like, this is mine. You're making a mockery of this place by saying you're gonna retire when you lose this championship. And I think that's the beef there. Yeah. When you start saying I'm retiring when I lose this championship, you're putting your retirement above the world title. You're making everything about you. And I think that's what Moxley is getting to, like through these cryptic promos where he's saying, I didn't want to do this. You're making me do this. I'm declaring war, all these things. You're realizing that Moxley has this vision for AEW, and they started off this way where they were both like, let's beat these rookies into professional wrestling at a higher level. And then somewhere they split. Danielson went for becoming AEW champion, and Moxley went away, came back, and he's like, I still want to beat the shit out of these rookies and teach them how to be a professional wrestler on this level. And you're over here parading around your retirement tour like you're Kobe Bryant. Like, nah, this is not how we're going to do it. So I'm going to put you out of your misery because you're going to wrestle until the day you die. So I'm going to show you what that looks like by literally trying to murder you. And I thought that was perfect. Maybe I'm reading into it too much, but this is how I'm seeing it. And maybe I'm TK's burner account. You never know. But I really feel like this is a higher level of professional wrestling storytelling that we're not used to. And that is why a lot of people are like, what's the story here? It's like there is a story here, and it's been being woven in for a long time. When you had Claudio Castagnoli getting pissed off that Danielson was doing Anarchy in the Arena, a lot of people forgot about that, but he walked away when Danielson said that. He walked out of the ring, and everybody was like, what was that about? Like, Claudio just left. They also had when he did the Owen Hart tournament, Claudio was also against that because he knew that Danielson's neck was hurt. Danielson's going around doing interviews saying, I need neck surgery, but he's still wrestling. This guy needed to be put out of his misery, and I think that is what the story was. And now Moxley is saying, this is my AEW again. You're not going to be here parading around your retirement because I'm taking that away from you. And what the company is about is going back to its roots of being a underground, I'm going to kick your ass. This is how you wrestle. So I loved it. I can't wait to see more of this storyline. I was a little disappointed that they didn't really do too much with it today in Dynamite because I feel like they kind of dropped the ball of not like
Danielson wasn't even on the show tonight, right?
Yeah, like even just showing like him, like maybe some backstage footage of him going to the hospital or something. Like they should have done something with that. Yeah, it was more just like Moxley beating up more people, which is cool. But I do want to know more like behind Moxley's intentions, and I think we're gonna get that. It's just a slow burn.
And I think we're going to get a Danielson payoff also. I don't think this is the way to, TK is him and Danielson are very tight. And I don't think this is a way he's going to send off Danielson, especially, being so tight. And if this is essentially probably his last match for a while. So I think we're going to get that big payoff, that big, like final match or some celebration of some sort. But yeah, I agree with you, Joel. I think that deep analysis makes sense. It's definitely something I didn't even think about, but it makes you think. And I thought the way they ended it was I thought it was chef's kiss. I thought it was like, yo, this is every pay-per-view doesn't have to end with happy endings and fireworks and balloons. And no, sometimes you can leave with like a wow or a stun or a stunner, right? Lewis, what did you have the same feeling about the match, the ending?
Yeah, I was 50-50 just because of my bewilderment, if you will. But I want to applaud Joel's deep analysis. I mean, that's the stuff of Wade Keller legend right there.
Yeah, the Godfather himself, man. Wade
yeah, seriously, because as I was listening to Stream of Joe just give that analysis, I was starting to put things together that I wouldn't have thought of if I didn't take a deeper look at all of the multiple stories being told.
Yeah.
You know, the story of betrayal, you know, putting Old Yeller out of his misery, like all that kind of stuff. And it makes perfect sense. Like, I bet you if I were to go back and watch the match now that I've had some time to like really process it, and we just had Dynamite, now I can see, oh, okay, this is actually really effective. You made a good point too, Quixote, that not every pay-per-view has to be happy-go-lucky or like a clean finish or a clean ending, so to speak. You can do things like that where it's a prolonged cliffhanger where there's a big swerve because it gets people talking, and you're going to most likely tune into the Fallout show.
Oh yeah.
And speaking of Fallout show, these they're not even vignette. I guess they're vignettes, right? These video packages, these whatever they're doing when they're filming Moxley, that stuff is great.
Fantastic.
Like John Moxley is a terrific actor.
Yeah.
Like if I were to just be flipping channels and I saw some shit like that, I'd be like, who is this guy?
Man,
like,
I
why
almost think he's not acting. Like it's almost like
right,
really, it's almost like really John,
right?
Like that.
But that's what makes it believable, because you can tell that he's not going on a quote unquote script. Like you can tell he's being himself.
Exactly.
But I look at it like, why hasn't he been cast in a horror movie or a thriller? Like him riding around in the pickup truck and just saying, "You work for me now." Like, this guy was just channeling like Bane, Gotham City, anarchist takeover type shit.
Yes,
like,
sir.
I am so excited to see where this goes. But I am loving, like, cinematically, this is the best stuff that AEW has produced to date.
Yes.
Yep.
And I agree. And I hope they keep this going somehow. And I hope we get nuggets of Moxley's intentions, or if there's an introduction of more people, or if there's something bigger, if there's some bigger plan. I hope we still get that week to week or month to month, or however they're going to do it, because I'm really loving this group. I love the makeup of this group.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I think it's violent and menacing, and I gotta tell you, I'm going to put her over. Marina Shafir.
Yeah,
she's doing her thing. This is her lane.
Yeah,
this is her lane. Not solo. I don't ever want to see her in a ring by herself. I don't ever want to see her talk on a mic by herself. She needs to be with a group where she's like one of the most dangerous badasses in the group. She's just not the chick in the group. She is legit one of the most dangerous people in the group. Her kicks look crazy. Her hits look real. Like, it looks like she's stiff as hell with them. And I'm digging this thing that's happening with Moxley. The rumors are Shane's here. No. I hope it's not Shane. If it is Shane has to be the complete opposite of what he was in WWE. He has to be like a badass, like a different Shane. That's the only way the only way I'm going to accept him. If he's completely different.
I think that's part of the reason why I love this story too, because it's taking me back to like when I was a fan, like a real fan of wrestling, not like a analyst of wrestling, right? Like I feel like fans nowadays have become analysts almost, or like almost fans of the wrestling business more than the actual on-screen wrestling. That's true. This storyline is making me feel like, holy shit, what is this Shane? What if it's like single? Like, I'm just like, my wheels are turned. This is so cool. And like the fact that everyone's involved now, it's involving the whole company. Like, Darby's involved because he's the one that gave up his title shot, so he probably feels like shit. He let his ego get the best of him, and he put his title shot on the line against Moxley. That was a terrible decision, and look what it led to. It led to your heroes getting basically murdered in front of your eyes. Then you have Wheeler Yuta's involvement. You have Wheeler Yuta being always saying that Danielson was his hero, and now he has to be the one to put him down. You have like the whole locker room trying to like avenge this fallen hero. You have Orange Cassidy in the background, and they're like kind of telling him like you're gonna be the guy. Like they had that random Jerry Lynn promo during.
Oh yeah, that red. Yes.
It was just like, hey man, you could be the man. That was like the most like telling of the whole story, because like that was like the most blatant, like, okay, Orange Cassidy's gonna be a huge part of this storyline. But I still think that's cool. And then like the end shot of Wrestle Dream of just like all the baby faces just like shocked looking, like that was a perfect cliffhanger ending. Like you said, it doesn't have to be rainbows and butterflies at the end of each favorite. Like not every retirement needs to be a Sting retirement.
Exactly.
And like you said, it's probably not his full-time retirement. I'm sure he'll come back and have a one-off crazy match against Moxley or something. But if this is the end to his full-time wrestling career, then I completely understand Danielson being like, I want this shit to be completely different from any other retirement. I want this to be the catalyst to the biggest story that AEW ever tells. Yeah. And I think we're going in that direction, especially with Mox in the front of this whole thing, showing off his acting chops.
Yeah, man, listen, let's that's for damn sure. Let's give it up for him. Let's give it up for him. Yeah, man. AEW definitely took a chance with that. Critics, whatever, they didn't love it, or most of the people that I heard loved it. They thought it was different. They appreciated the risk that TK took, right? So we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this unfolds. We'll keep going, right? But before we go, we have to get to none other than the administrator's report. Lewis, you bring us today some news, but not about AEW. Nope. Talk to the people, Lewis. Talk to the people.
So this version of the administrator's report is actually focused on little old NXT. So NXT, now that they are on the CW network, it's going to be interesting in terms of viewership. So they did do last night a viewership of 639,000. So you may be thinking, well, that's a major decrease from what they did like 2 weeks ago when they were in the 800,000s.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting because NXT tends to pull out all the stops in terms of main roster star power. You know, they have some budding young talent there. Now you got people like Stephanie Vaquer, Julia. The women are really holding it down. I'm very, very intrigued by that number because even though they're not directly competing with Dynamite, both shows are literally hovering around the same viewership number, especially with that key demographic, that 18 to 49. So I almost wonder if at any point are we going to get more of like a Tuesday night war or Wednesday night war type deal? Like, I know that they're both locked in on their separate days, but could this be a thing where Tony Khan says, you know what, quarterly, I would like to go head to head with NXT just to test the waters? What do y'all think?
What do you think, Joe?
I think that would be a terrible decision.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
It's not worth it.
I was thinking the same.
TK, not worth it.
Shut your ego down. It's not worth it. I think it's always a little weird to compare because CW is like a regular network channel, so it's available in more homes.
True.
But that being said, I think it is interesting to see that they're hitting those numbers. And I watched NXT this week, and I don't think they had any main roster talent on this episode. So that's pretty telling. If it's just the NXT stars getting those numbers, that's not a bad number at all. They do have some fun talent, like Javon Evans is amazing. Ethan Page is doing his thing over there. Wesley is Wesley. I haven't done any hate today. Maybe Wesley gets my hate.
Listen. Wesley's cool, man. He took his time to take a photo with us and Carmelo Hayes and all that.
Yeah, he took his time.
Cool. Wesley's cool. He's a friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Here's what I want from him, though, as a fan. just maybe a little excursion to Japan, just maybe, because I feel like he kind of goes from move to move in the ring, and it's very, at least me who's been watching wrestling for like 30 years at this point, I could see his brain and the wheels turning like, oh, I gotta hit this spot, I gotta hit this spot, I gotta hit this spot. And it bothers me. And I think if he goes to Japan and just gets one stiff forearm to the face and has to react, then it would teach him a lot about.
So he's got to practice strong style. In other
exactly.
words.
If
make him humble. Make him humble.
Honestly, everything else about him, I like.
Yeah,
he could do a little more with the acting. You know, his acting's not the best, but
yes.
In the ring, he's an incredible talent. I watched him in TNA before he even got to NXT. I always thought he had potential. But yeah, just give him a little bit of strong style, and I think he's sky's the limit. But besides that, I'm interested to see where this trend goes with NXT on CW. It's a fun show. It's definitely catered towards younger audience. I can see why they're getting those numbers. So I don't know. I mean, it's good for the business at the end of the day, anyway.
Yeah, I don't think any head-to-head with AEW is good for either one of them. Especially AEW right now. AEW needs to recoup and recover a little bit from some dismal like ratings and attendance records, right? So I don't even want to see that, but I do agree that that NXT is fun. Like the black and silver brand now, it looks good. WWE does such an amazing job making you believe in the product they're putting on just by the aesthetics of how it looks. Like it just looks good. And even I gotta tell you, the women's division is solid. I think NXT has a very strong women's division. You got Cora Jade, who's back. You got Roxanne Perez, who's a superstar. I'm just afraid for her lifeline on the main roster. That's a whole nother show. I just don't know if she's going to make it on the main roster. That's just my thing. But then you got Stephanie Vaquer and Julia. You got all these people, these women on here that could go.
Lola Vice,
Nikita Lyons,
Jada Parker. Listen. HBK knows what he's doing with these particular women.
HBK definitely knew what he was doing. He definitely went to some Waffle Houses with them. He definitely went to some Waffle Houses. But yeah, man, listen. But I gotta tell you, Stephanie Vaquer had her first match on the NXT last night. It was good. I didn't.
She's a very good worker.
I didn't love it. It was good. She she sells. She does things well. I gotta see more of her. I think, man, guys, I'm sorry, but the language barrier is really. I'm struggling to believe that there are these big stars because of that language barrier. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
No, the thing is, you hit the nail on the head on my next point. So, I really like Stephanie Vaquer. I do. I think she's very attractive. Mm-hmm. She's got like this really intense demeanor about her. She's got this aura of a star, and she can work. We all saw her match against Mercedes on AEW. Like that was a big deal. And I've seen clips of matches online and shit like that. The language is going to be a problem. I said this numerous times with a lot of these talents, these international signings. If they cannot pronunciate and enunciate words in a proficient manner, or at least decent enough to where I don't feel like you're forcing yourself to have to speak English on a mic.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't think it bodes well. I think it's fine for the NXT audience, but I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Until these folks get more like language dialect coaches, I don't know. But if she goes to the main roster like that, she's dead in the water.
Oh no, it won't last. Yeah, they'll throw the tag team titles on her or something for 3 months, and then she'll hit catering for the next 6. Like I'm personally got. Yeah, or LWO, which I to me, guys,
which is
honestly,
basically catering.
It's basically catering. I just don't see I just don't see how either one of them just becomes big stars. I don't know. I'm not seeing it yet. I'm not seeing it, but I'm going to keep hope alive. I'm going to stay positive, sort of. But
I love you, Stephanie Vicaire.
Yeah,
I do.
Listen, Stephanie's dope. She looks like she'll cast a spell on you, though. That's the shit.
Yeah.
Like I can't be with you if you doing all that spells and open up cauldrons and I don't know. I don't want none of that in my house. None of that. Sorry.
Bring it on.
Yeah, we can.
It's funny. It's funny you guys bring up the language barrier though, because I actually was lucky enough to see her when I went to Mexico, in Arena, Mexico.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Nice.
And she cut a promo in Spanish, and it was an incredible promo. Like, and she really sold.
I bet.
Like, you know, and I think it's a really big part of her character, especially in Mexico at least. So I am wondering how that translates over here. Maybe they get her a manager or something. But yeah, like I think that sucks. Like, part of your whole character is now diminished because the audience won't understand you. So
yeah,
it is going to be a huge adjustment for her, but maybe she could just win everybody over with her in-ring talent.
We'll see, fellas. Well, listen, y'all, this has been On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, bringing you episode 68 to y'all. It was all a dream. Wrestle Dream 2024, the retirement of Bryan Danielson. We got NXT's women's division, NXT on CW, the black and silver. We hit it all, y'all. Thank y'all for joining us on this episode. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff. You know, we're rocking and rolling. And if you guys want to be on the show, we could do a collab. Let us know. Hit us up on Instagram. We're always down for that. We're going to bring some specialty shows to you, and at least while it's a little dead with news wise, we'll bring some specialty shows to you. I got some topics we need to talk about that we need to hit for sure. Fellas, it's been a pleasure. Any last words before we sign off?
Let's go Yankees.
There we go, Lewis. I knew you were gonna go for it. Joel, how about you, man? Any last words, man?
Just a shout out to Bryan Danielson, man. One of my favorite wrestlers ever. Great career. If this is the end, what a fucking career. Yeah. Thank you for everything.
Yeah. Thank you, Bryan.
Speaking of that, before we go, he's a Hall of Famer, correct? You
Oh yeah,
of course.
Definitely, right? Okay.
Yeah, no fucking doubt.
Okay.
No doubt.
Is Shelton Benjamin a Hall of Famer?
Ooh. That's a question for the next episode.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I was gonna say good night, everyone.
I gotta think about that
one. On that note,
both of your faces was like, damn.
I love Shelton. Love Shelton.
Shelton's great.
He's one of my faves, you know.
It was like
maybe him and Charlie Haas.
Yeah. See, that was
world's greatest tag team.
The world's greatest.
Yeah, I guess so. Look, Shelton's great, but yeah, that's a different thing.
Shout out to Shelton, man.
Oh man.
Yeah, shout out to Shelton for real.
We need you on the show one day, Shelton.
Yeah, hopefully a friend of the show, Shelton. Hopefully a friend of the show. Thank y'all. This is On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. Peace out.
You've been listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, a Scriptly adapted production. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube at On the Mark Wrestling, and email us at onthemarkpodcast@gmail.com.
Good stuff, fellas. Good stuff.
Man, that shit was funny at the end.
I hit y'all with one that was
I was about to spit my water out, bro.
It was on the spot, man. I'm trying to get an interview one day, bro.
I was like, fuck, man. Yeah, like we better not have Shelton watch this, Kofi watch this, Wesley,
fucking
hologram.
Damn.
Y'all
we're making a list of enemies every time we record.
hardcore list.
We got a fucking hit list over here, man.
Y'all
I think
legit.
one of these fun
Yo.
topics that you were talking about has to be like our top 5 most hated for each of us. Like, who do we hate the most?
Oh man,
Who do we hate the most?
that's good.
Yo.
That's good. We could definitely do that. Because because tonight when he was wrestling, I was like, yo, is Shelton a Hall of Famer? And I couldn't.
It just depends. The thing is, if I'm thinking his WWE career, I would say yes, because he was there long enough to make an impact, and you know who he is. Like now, does he get the loudest pop when he comes out? No.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't get the biggest reaction, but he did some great work when he was with Charlie Haas and Kurt Angle. When he was when he had that gold standard gimmick for that little bit, that was good. I think. Listen. If fucking Coco Beware is in the Hall of Fame, I think we can give it to Shelton Benjamin.
True that. True.
There's a lot of bullshit inductees in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So
right.
for me, I'm like, Shelton Benjamin is sort of a no-brainer.
You know what?
If I'm putting things into perspective.
One day they'll do a Hurt Business